Of the fantasy baseball season, and he has a few pitchers on the rise this week. The first guy is Alek Manoah of the Toronto Blue Jays. So Manoah, he's been up and down since he came up a few weeks ago for this Blue Jay team, but the last 2 or 3 outings for him, he's been lights out and one of the better pitchers in fantasy baseball. But he's also a player I said to sell high this week because I think there's going to be some growing pains and some games where he's going to be bombed and then some gems from him. So far in the early going for him this season, 36 and 2/3, 2-0 record, 25 hits, 11 earned runs, 7 homers, 12 walks, 43 strikeouts, 2.70 ERA, and a 1.01 WHIP. And the last couple weeks for him, 13 innings, 1-0 record, 7 hits, no runs given up, 3 walks, 16 Ks, and 0.77 WHIP, and 2 quality starts. So right now, he's been an elite pitcher here, like I mentioned, the last few weeks here for fantasy owners. And Manoah, the last couple outings, June 19th at Baltimore, 3 1/3, 4 hits, 5 earned runs, no decision, 4 homers given up, a walk, 6 Ks, 13.5 ERA, and a 1.50 WHIP in that ball game. June 25th versus the same Baltimore team, 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, no decision, 2 walks, 6 Ks, a 1 WHIP, and a quality start. And July 2nd versus Tampa Bay, 7 innings, got the win, 3 hits, 1 walk, 10 Ks, and 0.57 WHIP, and a quality start. So right here, he's been pitching great baseball, is Manoah. But the only thing that's going to be a problem, I think, is obviously that tough AL East where you got good hitting teams there, like Tampa. The Yankees still could hit the baseball even though they're struggling. And the first place Boston Red Sox and even Baltimore hit him around a few weeks ago. And right now, his next outing is here tonight at the Tampa Bay Rays, and we'll see what Manoah could do. But he's definitely a pitcher on the rise this week. The second pitcher is Raisel Iglesias of the Los Angeles Angels. So Iglesias, the new closer this season, after getting traded from the Cincinnati Reds in the offseason here to the Angels. And he's been a good closer for the most part this season. 6-3 record in 40 1/3, 28 hits, 16 earned runs, 9 homers, 7 walks, 63 strikeouts, a 3.57 ERA, and an 0.87 WHIP. So right here, his strikeout numbers are pretty high for the 40 1/3. But the last couple weeks is where he's been one of the best pitchers in all of fantasy baseball. Is Iglesias, 9 innings pitched, 2-0 record, 6 saves in the time, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 homers, giving up 15 strikeouts, a 2 ERA, and an 0.22 WHIP. So right now, like I mentioned, he's one of the hottest closers in fantasy baseball. But I'm not a big guy on closers as it is. So right now, if you got Iglesias on your roster, I definitely would try to dangle him and sell him high and see what you could get in a deal. Because obviously this Angel team isn't that good. And Iglesias, he just started hitting that hot streak the last couple weeks here on the season, because he was pretty mediocre up until the last 2 weeks here, and where he got the 6 saves under his belt. But I can't take anything away from him, and he's definitely a pitcher on the rise here in Week 14. The next pitcher on the rise this week is Eric Laura of the Milwaukee Brewers. So right here, another good pitcher in that Brewer rotation, and that's a reason why they got a pretty good lead in first place in the NL Central this season. On the season for Laura, 50 1/3, 3-3 record, 46 hits, 23 earned runs, 10 homers, 20 walks, 51 strikeouts, a 4.11 ERA, and a 1.31 WHIP with 4 quality starts. And the last couple weeks for him, 12 1/3, 2-0 record, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 6 walks, 10 Ks, and 0.73 ERA, 0.97 WHIP with 2 quality starts on the last couple weeks here for Lawler. So Lawler, he's obviously been a waiver wire pickup over the last few weeks here, but he's still only owned in 10% of fantasy leagues, and we'll see what he does here tonight versus the Cincinnati Reds. To keep rising up the fantasy ranks here is Lawler. So the last 3 outings, June 20th at the Rockies, 5 innings, no decision, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 homers, a walk, 5 Ks, a 5.40 ERA, a 1.20 WHIP. June 27th versus the Rockies, 6 innings, got the win, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks, 0.67 WHIP, and a quality start. And July 3rd at Pittsburgh, 6 1/3, got the win, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 4 walks, 4 Ks, a 1.42 ERA and a 1.26 whip and a quality start. So Lawler, he's definitely on the rise this week. And like I mentioned, we'll see here tonight if he could keep it going versus the Cincinnati Reds. The next pitcher is Luis Castillo of the Cincinnati Reds. So Luis Castillo, he was off to a horrible start for about the first 2 months of the season here, but he's finally getting things going and pitching a little better over the last few weeks. But on the season, the numbers look horrid for him. 97 and a third, 3-10 record, 97 hits, 52 earned runs, 10 homers, 39 walks, 90 strikeouts, a 4.81 ERA, which he definitely lowered a lot here in the last few weeks, where it was a 7 a few weeks ago, a 1.40 whip, and 7 quality starts on the season here for Castillo. So last season, him and Bauer, they were a great 1-2 punch in that Cincinnati Red pitching rotation here. But right now, Castillo, it's been a struggle for him this season. But like I mentioned now, he's definitely rising up the ranking board over the last few weeks as Castillo for the Reds. And 20 and a third, 1-0 record. 14 hits, 4 earned runs, a homer, 6 walks, 16 strikeouts, a great 1.77 ERA, and a 0.98 whip with 3 quality starts in the last few weeks here for Castillo. And Castillo, it's not like he's been versing bad teams in the last few games. June 26th versus Atlanta, 7 innings, got the win, 6 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks, a 1.14 ERA, and a quality start. July 1st versus the Padres, 6 and a third, no decision, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 6 Ks, 4.26 ERA, 1.26 whip, and a quality start. And then July 6th at the Royals, 7 innings, no decision, 3 hits, 1 earned run, a homer, giving up a walk, 4 Ks, a 1.29 ERA, and a 0.57 whip. So right now, Castillo, he's gone out there the last 5 starts, and he's had all quality starts in those 5 outings. And right now, he's pitching great baseball, and he's definitely a pitcher on the rise this week. And the 5th and final pitcher on the rise is Joey Peralta of the Detroit Tigers. So Peralta, he's bounced around the last few seasons with a lot of different ball clubs, and we've best known him when he had a couple decent seasons with the Brewers, but the last few years he's been all around the league. But on the season here so far, I know only 21 innings pitched, 2-1 record though, 13 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 homers, 5 walks, 14 Ks, 2.14 ERA, and an 0.86 whip with a quality start. So right here, Peralta, they put him in the starting rotation finally here is this Detroit Tiger team. And this Tiger team, they're dealing with injuries a little on that front with Turnbull on the 60-day DL and a couple other guys who've been in and out of the starting rotation this season. So the last 2 outings here for Peralta. June 30th at Cleveland, 5 innings, got the win, 3 hits, 5 Ks, no runs given up, an 0.60 whip. And July 5th at Texas, 7 innings, got the win, 3 hits, no runs, 6 Ks, 0.43 whip, and a quality start. So his next outing is July 10th at the Minnesota Twins here. And Peralta, he plays in a division. I know the Tigers aren't really any good, but that AL Central as a whole is pretty weak in my opinion, especially the hitting teams. Besides, obviously, the Chicago White Sox. You got Kansas City in there, his former team. You got Minnesota, who's mightily struggling this season in that division. And you just got nothing going really right now. So Peralta, he's pitching well. He's pitching lights out. And maybe this season, after taking last season off, he's refreshed and rejuvenated and ready to make an impact. And right now, this week, he's been added in 8% of fantasy leagues as Peralta. And it definitely could be fluky as well. So we'll wait and see what he does in his next outing. But he's definitely a pitcher on the rise here. And that's a few pitchers on the rise in Week 14 of the fantasy baseball season.